Hey, Tubies! Whew! It's Psychic Bob here. It's Sunday night. It's 8 p.m. in the eastern coast of the United States. And whatever time, wherever you are, whatever time it is, you know what it is? It's the witching hour. Woo! That's right. Well, we got Lord Tony with us tonight. We got Lady Carol with us tonight. Lady Angela's off for the night out doing some stuff. But we got 3 out of 4, and we're rolling with it. And I want to welcome you guys to the Witching Hour. For those of you who are new here, this is our Sunday show. It kind of serves a dual purpose. It's for those who want to learn about Wicca. And it's also a gathering of the tribe of the Order of the Purple Cord, our Wiccan order. If you want to learn more about that, we'll talk about that later tonight. But we're just glad you're here. I want to hear from you guys out there. Lord Tony, are you with us tonight?
Yeah, I'm with you tonight. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to see all these people in the chat room now too. So it's we're going to have a good show.
Yeah, I got to get my chat room going here. While I'm doing that, Lady Carol, why don't you say hi to us and tell us what you've been up to?
Hi, everybody. I'm glad you're here, and I hope you enjoyed the show tonight.
We are so glad you're here. Hold on, I got to get my chat room open here. You know Psychic Bob and technology. Now, that's always a drama, isn't it, guys?
Oh yeah. We've all been hit by that bullet.
I'm telling you. Well, hold on. Let's see if I can get this going here. I don't know why it's not coming up. All right, hold on. Whoa, silence. All right, there we go. All right. Oops, where's our chat room here? There it goes. All right, let's see who we got here tonight. We got a good turnout. Hold on, guys. I'm losing my chat room's vision here. Let's see here. All right, so we got, oops, hold on. I got to get the screen aligned right. I can't see you guys, so hold on just a second. All right, so who do we got tonight? Okay, Antoine LeVay is here. Polani Amontillado is here. Mama Bird's here. Kathy Private's here. Amy Johnson's here. Mary Wick's here. B. LeClaire. Alicia Faye. Yenny Yen's here. Christian Drew 1313 Clifton. Gav Hines is here. Oh my gosh, guys. Well, this is great. We got a great turnout. I'm so glad you guys are here. And welcome to the Witching Hour. You know, here we talk about all things mystical and Wiccan. And, you know, I tell you, last week we had such a good time. You know, Lady Angela showed us some amazing, amazing crystals. And, you know, I'm a big believer in the power of crystals. And, you know, somebody said to me recently, they said, Psychic Bob, how is it that crystals work? And I said, well, if you think about it, that everything in the cosmos has a vibration. When you surround yourself with certain frequencies and vibration, you naturally absorb them. And they said to me, which I thought was very insightful, they said, are you saying, Psychic Bob, that everything is radioactive? I said, well, honestly, to a degree, yes. Not necessarily dangerous radioactive, but it's a radioactive, meaning it releases vibrations. And, you know, crystals do that. And last week, as I said, Lady Angela had some really powerful crystals. A lot of you are weighing in about crystals you like. Well, you know, what's really interesting is that crystals tie in. People said to me, the first time I was talking to you, said, well, how does that all work? I said, well, it also ties into sacred geometry. Sacred geometry means that the crystalline structures have a lattice work on the molecular level. And that lattice work creates a harmonious vibration. And that goes through every type of crystal there is. Well, tonight I was talking to Lord Tony. And I said, Lord Tony, what's up with you? He said, oh, Bob, you got to see what I got. And Lord Tony, I want you to show them this amazing crystal that you've got. Let's talk about this tonight.
What I have is, I may have shown this a while ago, some time ago. What I have is actually a green and purple fluorite Merkaba. Now I know Merkabas, you can't find these naturally, but they're carved out by somebody, and I don't have a flashlight. Me saying I don't have a flashlight has got to be wrong. So let's see here.
Lord Tony always has a secret laser light or something somewhere.
You can see it better this way. They're clear. They got some stripes in them, but it's definitely purple and green. all on the inside. And the shape of it alone actually enhances everything that it does. I got notes here, but I just wanted to, to bring this out. But, the actual Merkaba shape is translated to light, spirit, and body. It's said to provide protection and transport your consciousness to higher dimensions. Whereas when you facilitate it with the colors, it enhances your immune system, eases headaches, helps bones and teeth, eases arthritis. It aids in the treatment of bone marrow illnesses. That's just the purple part of it. Whereas the green part, they actually call it a gentle healer. And it will detoxify and energize all of your chakras. It allows you to heal from heart-based issues, whether they're emotional or physical, enhances your intuition, and brings order out of chaos. So this is a great stone to meditate with, especially on your heart chakra, your throat chakra, and your third eye. And it's one of my favorites.
Well, what's interesting, Lord Tony, is with that crystal, you're getting like 3 times the benefit, because you're getting the benefit of the green elemental fluorite, you're getting the benefit of the purple, and you're getting the benefit of the sacred geometry. Actually 4, the sacred geometry of the crystalline structure and the sacred geometry of the carved form.
Right.
I mean, that's like an all-in-one sort of crystal. I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. When I saw it, I had to have it. So eBay is a great place to buy stuff from.
Yeah,
wow.
I've never seen one that big. I have a teeny tiny one that's, almost, micro compared to that one. But
yeah, I have one that's about the size of a quarter out of opalite, and I don't have that with down here. It's upstairs and charging up. But then I just kind of wanted to show this one too. This is my favorite Herkimer diamond.
Oh my God, I didn't know they got that big. I've never seen one that size.
Yeah, they get huge. This is like 1,025 carats. They call this a golden healer. And but I have to go back to look at something here. I have left this one on the screen. But the properties of the Herkimer diamonds is for chakra healing, balancing your energy. It'll clear your chakras, opens channels for spiritual energy to flow. It stimulates your conscious attunement to the highest levels, and is particularly helpful in activating and opening the crown and third eye chakras. So this one, I really, really love to sleep with this one underneath my pillow.
Wow.
This one, if you want some awesome dreams that'll take you places, this is what you need to have underneath there. And that's a good one. I actually have 2 angelic spirits that are attached to this one, so it really enhances the feeling I get from them too.
Yeah, that's really nice.
I love those both, Lord Tony. I have never seen a Herkimer that giant. I'm so amazed at that. And the beautiful golden color. That's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. I tell you, see, the wonderful part of our witching hour. We get to see amazing things. We're all learning. Everybody up here, none of us claim to have all the answers. We're the leaders of the show, but we're still learners too. We're still students, aren't we, Lady Carol?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, every day is a learning process. Even if, you just go outside and, look at the grass. Notice the different colors in it. You learn something new every day, different properties of everything around us in the world.
Got a question here I want to throw out here, which is good. Plasma. John Doe writes, says, does the size of a stone make a difference? What do you think, Lord Tony? Do you think size matters in crystals?
You really want? I'm in such a weird ass good mood today. I don't know how to answer that question. The energy, I'm just going to say the energy of the stone, the bigger the stone, the more powerful the energy is that's going to come off of it. They'll do the same things, but I think the bigger the stone, the more energy it can actually hold. To me, it's like a battery. the bigger the battery, the more capacity it has. So
I have to agree with you on that. I do. I know that's may not be popular in some circles, but I do think there's truth to that. I have a giant. In fact, I can't get it tonight. It's too heavy. I have a giant Lemurian emerald, which is literally like this big. It weighs like 50 pounds to carry it. But I can tell you, having that thing in my house, it radiates a field around it. That smaller piece, I have a smaller one too. It's really great, but there's definitely a difference. That's my experience. So,
and one of the things, one of the things too with the Herkimer diamond, if you combine it with moldavite, moldavite's another one of my all-time favorites. The two of them work so well and they're harmoniously work together that you can expect big gains by combining the two together. And it's another one. Both of them sleep together underneath the pillow, and you don't want to overdo it. It's like one night with it in there, maybe once a week. But I
love that.
It's some good stuff.
Yenny Yen just said in the chat, says, one day I would love to go mining for my own Herkimer diamond up in upstate New York. That's where they come from, isn't it? Upstate New York?
Yep. I believe it's actually Herkimer, New York. So you can't really find one that's from anywhere else. You can call it a Herkimer diamond.
There you go. I love that. Okay. Gab Hines just put a nice comment. Says, Bob, that's what I love with the Witching Hour. Every week we learn something new. And I have to agree. I do. I think we have such a good time here. Sin 1982 had a comment earlier. She said that she recently bought a fluorite, but it ended up being a fake fluorite. You guys have anything to add on that? I have never seen a fake fluorite. I didn't know people were putting out fake fluorites. Do you know anything about that? Either of you guys?
I know that there's a lot being imported and exported to a lot of these so-called websites. You have to really do your research into them, because I know that a lot of times people will think they're buying crystals and they're buying glass. I've had that happen a couple of times. They look like a crystal, but they're really glass. They're pressed glass.
Wow. Well, that raises a point. It's interesting because I'm sorry, Lord Tony, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, I don't know how you can fake a fluorite, a fluorite crystal, unless they're literally just taking a whole bunch of them, melting them together and putting them in a mold. But, they've done that with quartz crystal too, to make the bigger, the crystal skulls. You can actually melt the quartz and then reform it, and it'll still have the same properties, but it's no longer the original piece. And I know a lot of crystals that you get from China. That's what they've done, and it's quite possible. If you can do it with quartz, you can probably do it with fluorite too. But I really don't know.
Okay, well, this is just interesting because I think for those of us who study the craft, we want to try to keep our elements as pure as they can, because we know as crafters that that's where the power comes from. The earth energies, the ancient energies of that pressure and that fire. And when you think about it, crystal has all four elements in it, doesn't it? It's got earth because it comes out of the earth. It's got fire because many times it's formed in intense heat. It's got air because a lot of them get air bubbles and pockets of inclusions. And it's got water because some of them have been infused with water inside of them, or they've been underground or under streams of water. So really, crystals can be all four elements. What do you think?
Yeah, actually some of those quartz crystals that you buy, if you can buy them with an anhydrous bubble in them, they're actually worth a lot more money. And they'll have that, like the air bubble in there, and then you can rotate them around and see the water that's actually inside it.
Yeah. How old is that water in there? Do you have any idea? Is it literally like since the formation of the crystal?
Yeah, it could be literally. It just got trapped in there when it finally sealed over that one little area, and then millions of years old. It all depends on how big the crystal has been allowed to form.
It's pretty amazing stuff, isn't it?
It is.
I love that. I'm just loving that. We got a lot of comments in chat, guys. I'm trying to get as many questions in, so I'm not ignoring you. Bree Exton says that she's not a fan of man-made crystals. Okay.
Nope.
You know, it's interesting when we talk about crystals. Like, you know, this is an interesting thing. Is somebody I was reading in a crystal forum one time, and somebody said, "Well, you know, I had a crystal. I bought a crystal, and like Lady Carol was saying, it was made of glass. It wasn't a real quartz crystal." But somebody in the forum threw something out, which I'm not saying I agree with selling fake crystals, but it was really kind of interesting. And they said, "Well, what is glass?" And they said glass is made from silica, which is a natural crystal. It's fused with heat and created. So really glass carries true crystalline substance. It is crystal. And I thought, oh, wow, that's getting deep, but maybe there's something to that, you know? So maybe even a glass crystal could do something, you know? I don't know. It's interesting. I think like if we did get a fake crystal, maybe if we charge it, it will still resonate with the charged energy. It may not have as much power as the earth energy, but our intent we put in the crystal will fuse it with power if it's a fake crystal. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Am I crazy, or could there be something to that?
Well, as far as oh, go ahead.
I'm going to say is like, well, I'm pretty sure her and I might be on the same line here. The crystalline structure is not the same. If you break a man-made glass crystal, it's going to look like you just broke a piece of glass crystal, and it's more or less going to look like you just broke, like, say, a piece of obsidian. It's going to have the weird-looking ridges on there. Whereas if you break an actual crystal itself, you see the structure inside the break, and to me, the energy is just not going to be the same.
Okay, good point. I'm open to discussion on this, but I'm not sure where I stand on this at this time. What were you going to say, Lady Carol?
Well, you know, if you really want to look at it, yes, the structure is different. But if you're looking at the elemental properties of fake glass, they are similar. Glass is made from sand, which comes from the ocean. So you have water, fire, you know, earth and air. Because, as we know, sand has to contact the earth. And, of course, you know, the air element is automatically there. So it really depends on the person as well. I know that you can actually take glass, and if you're a high energy person, you can diffuse your energy through glass. So it really depends on you. Some people prefer glass over actual crystal. I personally prefer actual crystal, but that's my energies. So,
well, this leads into a question somebody in chat's asking. Shiva Bhaktan, really good question, says, well, how do we tell the difference? How would we spot a fake glass crystal versus a real actual crystal? So if you're just new to buying, like, I'm assuming this might even be over the internet, or maybe it's in person. What do we want to know? How do we make that difference, you know, spot that? You guys have any insight on that?
I'm going to say glass, you know, when they make a glass crystal ball or a glass, you know, crystal shape, it's usually so clear and there's nothing in there, and probably no bubbles. There's no inclusions. There's nothing. There's no fragmented ghost lines in there. And it's so crystal clear that if it was a real crystal, it would be worth a fortune. And if you're just buying a crystal tower, you know, that's 5-6 inches tall, and you're paying $15 for it, then it's truly not a naturally grown crystal.
That's a good point. So the price point related to the clarity is a big factor in that.
Exactly.
That's a good point. Thank you, Lord. That's very specific. That's what we're looking for. Did you have something to add to that, Lady Carol?
well, actually, what I'm doing is I'm looking for something to kind of use to show people.
Okay.
Now, this is a little globe that I have on a lamp This is actually made with combination crystal and glass. If you notice all the bubbles, this is what we're talking about as far as the bubbles. This process was done when this was pressed, but it is a combination of glass and crystal, but it's a decorative ornament. It doesn't really have like a whole lot of energetic properties. Now, this, as we know, does have the energetic properties. When you buy crystals and glass, you will know the difference by touching them if you can get them in person. When you buy online, you don't actually know what you're getting. So you have to be careful with some of that. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to feel the energetic properties. So that may make it easier for those of you who can get to a shop and buy crystals and connect to the crystal. Like I said, this looks pretty and all, but it's an ornament. So you have to look at those things. Now, there are real crystals that do have air bubbles and, things like that Lord Tony was speaking of. I have a few, but I don't have them handy. So you really have to kind of let yourself loose when you buy them. Let your energies connect, and then you will know if it's glass or if it's crystal.
Following on with another question here, which I'm jumping topics, but we're getting a lot of questions here. Matt B asks, can we discuss the crystal topaz? What are its properties? Matt says it's their birthstone. They just like to learn more about topaz. That's a good question. I love topaz because that's my mom's favorite stone, and every year for her birthday, we would buy her topaz jewelry. There are actually 2 types. Well, there are actually 3 multiple types, but the 3 main types of topaz is that there is white topaz, which looks like a diamond. There's blue topaz, which looks kind of like an aquamarine. And then there's golden topaz, which is a beautiful, rich golden yellow color. Most people who have topaz as their birthstone, it's usually golden topaz if your birthday's in like November timeframe. And golden topaz is a wonderful stone that brings in a lot of solar energies, brings in healing. It also brings in prosperity. It's tied to the color gold, which is a masculine energy and a healing energy. So if you're trying to work with healing, golden topaz can help. Similar to Lord Tony's golden Herkimer diamond, that has a lot of solar power energy in it. And so, the topaz is actually, in the last few years, has actually become a very pricey stone, at least in the golden variety. It's shocked me because it used to be a lot more affordable. I think a lot of the gems, we're seeing a major increase across the gem market as people are waking up to the value, the true power and value of these gems. And the jewelry market is really taking advantage of that. But do you guys have anything you want to throw in on topaz?
I know absolutely nothing about it.
Yeah, okay, that's all right. Yeah. That's kind of like me and black kyanite. Totally never seen it, Do you have any topaz in your jewelry collection, Lady Carol, that you ever wear or you like to or work with it?
Yeah, actually, I do have some. I don't have it handy.
No.
But I have worked with it in the past as far as, healing energies. I actually have a chakra set, but it's not here with me right now. So I've worked with topaz, I've worked with citrine, I've worked with, all the different ones. And they are good for healing.
I agree. I think they're a wonderful stone. I hope that gives you a little help with that stone, Matt. That's a good question, November. Christine C. says topaz is also her birthstone. Yay, all right. Melanie Miller says, I love crystals. And Rexident saying she loves it. here. She's having fun tonight. Isn't that wonderful? So, we're having a great time here. And, this is, as I say, every week I'm learning something new. I had, last week or week before I learned about black kyanite. This week I'm learning about Herkimer diamonds. And I didn't even know they came in a golden variety. I mean, I'm telling you, this is amazing, It really is. So, I was going to ask you, Lord Tony, when you got your Herkimer diamond, did you do anything like to cleanse it, or was it already cleansed, or how did that energy feel?
Yeah, I bought it based on the color and the size and how it felt to me, actually just seeing it on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got it home, that's the first thing I did is I cleansed it. And I had it, underwater for a while. I had it sitting on dirt out in the front yard in the sunlight, and then I had it charging up in moonlight afterwards, and made it my own, programmed it for how I wanted it programmed. And then I decided with some of the angelic spirits that I had that I was going to bridge them to that instead of just to me. And so it has all the cool properties I needed for it, along with angelic energies attached with it.
I love that. I love that. Speaking of crystals, I just pulled out here. I had my jewelry box out here earlier because I was cleaning jewelry. But here's one of my favorite crystal pieces. This is a Lemurian crystal that I wear as a necklace many times. Some of you have been with me while I've seen this. The Lemurian crystals are kind of noted. They're not always as bright and clear as a lot of crystals. This one's kind of cloudy, but as you study it, it's hard to see on camera. It really has a real depth to it. And it's one of my favorite pieces of jewelry, And I tell you, I guard my crystals very sacredly because, one time my spirit guide said in a seance, they told me that they said that someday on Earth, quartz crystals will be more valuable than diamonds. And I thought, oh my God, I wonder what that means. How will that come about? They never explained beyond that to me. They just said quartz crystals will be more valuable someday than diamonds. So I'm holding on to it because I think that's a pretty good investment right there. I'm curious to people in the chat out there. Do you guys ever wear crystals? I remember, and you guys, Lord Tony and Lady Carrie, you're old enough to remember, back in the 1970s and 80s, I call it the crystal revolution started. I remember, because I knew a lot of kind of cool hippie people back in the day, and I would literally see them wearing crystals around their neck, just like this, like the one I've got on. And they'd be walking around wearing this. And I used to say, what are these necklaces that y'all are wearing? And they said, oh man, it's crystal. It's attuning us to the cosmos. They were kind of out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to think, oh, that's really interesting. So there was a magazine back then. I can't remember. It was a whole magazine about New Age and crystals and ascended masters. And every time I buy that magazine, they would be advertising crystals in it, like buy your crystal pendant, align your chakras. And that's what got me curious. And I started reading about it, back in the 80s when it was all the rage. That got me learning about crystals. And I'm just curious if, first of all, anybody here on the panel, if y'all remember that kind of craze period, do any of you remember that, or, were you part of any of that?
Well, actually, in the 80s, I was too busy trying to get out of high school and run away from college, but they still caught me. But I didn't actually start focusing on a lot of crystals until I found the path. I had bought crystals in the past because I liked the way the crystals look. And oddly enough, I didn't realize the different properties of crystals until I really started appreciating them for what they were instead of just pretty rocks. Mm-hmm. But what I was reaching for are some of my quartz crystals and Lemurian crystals that I have to kind of give people a general idea of different ways that they can find them. Now, I have quite a few in my hand, so I'll show them, as quickly as possible. This is a piece of one of mine. And let me see if I can get a little more light without blinding myself. This one, as you can see, it has both properties. It does have some clear elements and a lot of cloudiness. And there are bubbles naturally created in this. You can also see the striations. This is formed naturally. A larger one that I have, so I don't drop them, is this one. Try and get my camera to focus. This is what Lord Bob was trying to show in one of his crystal videos about the differences. I'll put a light on there so you can hopefully see a little bit more of it.
Is that a Lemurian? Oh,
Yes.
I thought so. Yes, it is. I can see it now. Oh my God. Talk, Lady Carol, so the screen will come up.
This is one way you will know if it's glass or if it's real. Some of them have clear points and some don't. Some are mixed. This is mixed. And if you look at this one especially, you'll see chip marks and things like that. And I think those are more beautiful than getting something made, you know, perfect. So that's one, well, two actually. This is a cloudy one. And it is also Lemurian, sorry. It's kind of hard to show every detail in it because of the way my camera is. But this is how you will know if it's a crystal or if it's not. If you look at this one, you'll see where the point broke and it has actual pieces of the earth in it, where it's kind of raw. This is in a raw form. I prefer mine in raw form, but I do have some that are polished.
Lady Carol, this brings a good question up. Shiva Bhaktan asked the questions, and they said that they have a crystal point pendant, but they dropped it in the tip of it, the point chipped. And they said, can they still use this crystal? Is it of value or is it destroyed by that?
No, it can still be used. You have to remember a lot of times when these stones come out of the earth, they're coming out of the earth with people using jackhammers and, you know, all types of tool to get them out of the earth, and they chip, they break. That does not take away from the energy of the crystal.
Okay, wonderful. I love that. I guess, you know, I might throw in one caveat. And Lord Tony, I'll be interested to hear your thought on this. I think, like Lady Carol said, you can still use that crystal and wear it. But my question is, like, if you're using that crystal as a healing crystal with that point chip, is my belief maybe that it might not be the best transmitter of energy. Like, it might be better to wear that more as a costume piece, a jewelry piece, rather than a healing point. I don't know if that makes a difference. That's just my speculation. Lord Tony, you do a lot of healing. Do you have any thoughts on that?
The thing is with the point on a crystal is that the smaller and tighter the point, the finer and more of a tighter beam of energy will come off of it. Whereas if it's got a little chip in there, it might scatter it a little bit. It'll still be a beam, but it just won't be as tight. You know, if you're using it for that purpose alone. Whereas if you're just wearing it, that energy is just going to, you know, go around you, because it really is not a focused beam that's meant to go anywhere. It's meant to be on you. And so your body's meant to absorb it. It's meant to shield you instead of being a directed energy device. And, you know, that's really all I got to say about that. But I wanted to bring up something when they were talking, when Lady Carol was talking about the striations on the outside of like the Lemurian crystals. I have one upstairs that the striations are on there, and I was told that if you follow, rub your finger across these striations while you're meditating and find a comfortable spot, each one of those lines has a story to tell. It's like a storage file. And if you focus on that spot and sleep with that crystal, you might actually have a dream about the information that was stored on that line.
I've heard that as well. And you know what? I find it to be true. I do. It shocked me because I didn't really believe that. And one day I was in meditation. I had my big Lemurian, which I don't know where it is. Well, I have to find it. But anyways, I had a big Lemurian crystal, and I was thumbing my thumb across the ridges. And literally, Tony, it was like a flash, like I was like in a 3D vision suddenly. And it really shocked me because I had never done that before. And I'm telling you, there's something to that. I believe those crystals do hold a codex of memory or an imprint of some sort.
Right.
So I believe you, Absolutely, Wow. Lady Witch says that she has some powders that she mixes into her nail polish. I'm guessing that might be crystalline powders. Now that's interesting, especially if you're using your hands to do magic and projective magic. I like that. Melanie Miller said, that is really cool, Lord Tony, what you said. The lady, Christine C. said, that's cool also. Hold on. Re-Exodent said that, hold on, let's see what she said. Re-Exodent said, the Lemurian crystals are said to contain information about Lemuria. Yes, that's what I've heard. Is that what you heard, Lord Tony, that it was Lemuria, or was it, just any information?
Yeah, it was meant to be a Lemurian, timeline that you're accessing. Okay.
Well, there you go. So now, again, we learned something new. I'll tell you, we're always learning on this show, Polani Amantiad says, I have a lot of raw crystals that I keep close to me. I love that. But, I got to throw in something on raw crystals. I love crystals, but I find, and this is something you should be aware of, if you start feeling like you're having an anxiety attack, look at what crystals you're wearing. For example, I love amethyst, but I can't wear it every day. It's too high frequency. That the amethyst makes me jittery, like I've been drinking too much coffee. So I wear it once in a while, but I can't wear it every day. And I'm just curious, anybody out there, you guys have had an experience with a crystal that doesn't work with your vibration, or that you're more sensitive to, that you have to monitor? You guys have anything like that?
I'm trying to think. I know I have one, and I don't have it under my pillow anymore. Just I can't sleep. It might actually be the amethyst, because I had a big one, and I'm pretty sure it is the big one then. And I put it on top of that big copper staff that I built a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then use it on that instead.
Interesting. See, that's fascinating. How about you, Lady Carol? Any crystals that you're a little more sensitive to that maybe not be able to keep around you all the time?
Hematite.
Really? That's interesting. Yeah. Tell me about that.
I had bought a piece of hematite, and I was trying to work with it, getting into it. And it's kind of weird the way it worked. It's like it took on its own form to me. It wanted me, but it didn't want me. It was like, you have a fight with somebody, you love them, but you hate them at the same time. I went through that experience with it, and I wore it for about a week, and I was going through mood swings wearing it, not realizing it was affecting my energies and my moods. So I stopped wearing it, and everything went back to normal.
Interesting. So I believe that. I think not. I have to say, I don't think every crystal is for every person, And I think crystals are like any sacred tool. You have to really have a resonance with them,
Yeah.
One of the stones that I love is essentially my birthstone is garnet, red garnets. And I tell you, I was saying to Lady Angela the other week, I said I was on eBay looking up garnets. I love eBay. I get a lot of stuff on eBay. I'm not being endorsed by them, nor is the show. But I don't know if it's just me, but other people I think will agree with me. Garnets have gone through the roof. They used to be a cheaper, not cheap, but a cheaper stone. And now I see people charging for garnets what I would pay for like a good aquamarine. You know, and an aquamarine's considered a little more pricey stone than a garnet. Have you guys noticed that, or is it just me?
To me, it's like the price of a ruby right now. You know, I'm not gonna go out and buy a ruby, but if you kind of do a price comparison on the weight and size, it's almost like buying a ruby now.
I think so. You know, a few years ago, they discovered the green garnet back in like the 70s. Do you remember the green garnet? There was a big push for green garnets. And those are like literally like the price of rubies also. Now, they were always pricey, but now even they've gone sky high. And I thought, my God, I found a little pendant with a green garnet. Usually I wear red garnet. That's the stone I resonate to. But I was intrigued by this green garnet because I love emeralds. And my God, it was like $400 for just a little green garnet that big. I said, oh, that's ridiculous. It's like diamond prices, you know? Mm-hmm.
Well, I think what Fletcher was talking about is actually coming to pass, because I've noticed in the past 5 years that the prices of a lot of stones have gone up.
I think so. But of course, this raises an interesting question that somebody threw to me one time in a discussion. They were a little anti-Wiccan, and they said to me, you Wiccans all talk about environmentalism and protecting the earth, but then all of you all go and build mines and rape the earth. That's what they said to me, by digging out all of these crystals. And I thought, ugh. And it's interesting because in the Wiccan community, I've seen discussions where people say that because we are such large consumers of crystals, that we are also, in a sense, being anti-environmental by our collecting. You know, I thought, wow, I never thought of that. I don't know. What do you think on that? Huh?
Well, my argument would be, go ahead. I'll let you go first. Go ahead.
Jump in, yeah.
My only comeback was people are buying diamond rings too, and they're not Wiccans. That's
true. All right, good point. There you go. I'm not saying I believe that. I'm just saying it's interesting that they're bringing it up. You know.
Well, see, with me being female, you know, I have to agree with Lord Tony. You know, when they're mining diamonds, they're also mining crystals. You know, when they're mining gold and silver, they're also mining crystals. So the crystals are coming automatically when they're busy mining for something else. Good
point. I think you're right. Okay. Good argument. Because, you know, I sometimes get this thrown at me. And I thought, wow, you know, are we respecting the earth? I don't know. You know, of course, you know, there's two views you could take. So one is that Mother Earth is just storing all this and wants us to have it. You know, that's one view. Or the other view is that we're stealing it from Mother Earth, her treasures. See, I don't know. I don't think we're stealing. I hope we're not, you know. But it's. I think we have to look at it as spiritually minded people who support the earth. We do have to think about our consumption process in that as well. So I'm open to at least looking at that concept.
And there's something else too that people need to think about, like with the peridot. You know, that's my birthstone, and the only places those are found is usually after a volcanic eruption, because they're formed pretty much the same way as a diamond is, under high heat, high pressure. And during a volcanic eruption is when they usually find them, because it gets launched out. You know, so that's Mother Earth has basically given those to us, or they're up in space in the middle of, you know, and asteroids and meteorites that come crashing down. And, you know, I've actually seen those go sky high in price and drop way down. And I almost bought a bag of them about a month ago because the price was right, but the money wasn't there.
I know what that's like. Isn't that always how it is with wonderful gems? When you find the dream stone, the money's never there. And when you suddenly have the money, the stone's not available. I've been through this in my life more times than I care to count, you know. Oh my gosh, you know. I was talking to somebody the other day and they were saying, they said it was in a group discussion I was in. Somebody said, I love wearing zirconias. Does anybody else feel the same way? This person was in the middle of a divorce and they said, I'm so lucky because I got to keep all the jewelry because it's all zirconias and my husband's not interested. And I said, well, you're lucky. I said, I love my zirconias. I wear them all the time too. So, you know, that brings up, somebody asked me, they said, well, what is a zirconia real stone? I said, well, it's a lab created diamond simulant. But, you know, this goes into the whole thing, which got me into another discussion, was like, are lab grown crystalline stones, do they carry any power, you know? Because like zirconias are actually made in they have a true crystalline substance. They're not glass, but they're created in a lab. So how does that change the energy, you know? What do you guys say? Any thought? I don't know. It's just interesting, you know? Is it the same as glass maybe, or is it different, you know?
I think it's different, to be honest with you. I actually took my diamonds off, you know, a couple of weeks ago, and I have a cubic zirconia now. It's not exactly glass, and it's not exactly a diamond. What they do is they take a small, tiny chip of a diamond, and they take that diamond chip and they incorporate the chemicals into it, and it basically mimics the diamond. So that's actually how it works. It's kind of like if you take what do they call it, borax. You've seen people do this probably on YouTube, where they take borax soap, which is a cleaner, and they create these artificial crystals with borax and hot water. It's that type of process. You take a piece of copper or something, a metal, and it creates these fake crystals. And it's kind of like that process, except they're hard. Years ago when I was younger, they used to sell, I don't know if they still sell them because I haven't seen them, those crystal kits you buy for your kids, and it's called Grow a Crystal. And it's basically a little kit where you actually grow what looks like a real crystal in this kit. It doesn't have the hardness or anything of a crystal, because when you touch them, they fall apart. But looking at them, you would think, oh, that's cool. That's a real crystal. That's a blue one, green one, red one, whatever. It's that type of process. It's done with high heat and everything else, but it's basically mimicking a diamond. It takes those crystal properties and mimics them.
That's fascinating. I love it. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, it basically creates, it's technically a real diamond, but being man-made, it doesn't have the clarity. It's almost not quite as hard. And a lot of times what they use them for is like oil drilling machines or boring machines, because the tip of them, you put those on those tips, they last a lot longer than just, hard stainless steel.
So like diamond drills.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. I'm always fascinated how industry and science kind of combine sometimes, and that's fascinating. Well, I read this article recently that said the finest zirconias, if you want a really high grade quality, well-made zirconia, they make them in Russia now. Russia is famous for they have entire labs, like massive complexes to create zirconias, and they're kind of the leader in the zirconia market now. So anyways, I feel like that's interesting,
They can actually take it now, and if you want to, you can have your past relatives' cremated remains turned into a diamond now.
Oh, I saw that. Or did you tell me that? Somebody else told me that. I'm really intrigued. Tell us a little bit about that, Lord Tony.
Well, it's pretty much the same process. They introduce it to the whole chemical process of creating that diamond, that that lab created diamond, and what you end up with after they cut and polish it is a diamond that's a goldish brown color. It's not clear diamond, but it's a goldish brown color, and they can set it in a pendant, a neck, a ring for you. And I'm not sure how it would actually qualify as energy wise, but it's still considered part of your loved ones.
I think when I die, I'm going to be made into a diamond. I like that idea. I used to be a tree. When I was younger, I wanted to go into outer space, and be sent in a capsule of space. But I think I'll become a diamond. I like that. What would you say, Lady Carol?
Yeah, it doesn't use the entire portion. It would use a small portion, like, about the amount of my husband's cremains, tiny amount. Right. And what they do is they incorporate it into the chemical process while it's developing. And, it creates the cremains to just kind of dissipate, and they go into the liquids, and then they compress them into the shapes of the diamonds. It's also done with, coloring. They have a coloring process for those who want their diamonds or whatever colored, like rubies or emeralds or whatever, depending on what you order. But they are expensive. I think for a quarter point, it's $2,500. So the bigger, the more costly.
How interesting. So I could become a blue diamond, maybe?
Yes, you could.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I'm going to think about that. Anyways. Oh, my gosh, guys. I tell you, I blink, and I don't know where the time goes. It's crazy.
I know where it went. Lord Tony's got that titanium behind his desk there. I know he does.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
He always bends time on this show, I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, he is our timekeeper, so he keeps up with everything doing that.
Well, I love it, and I love that we're all together tonight. And anyways, make sure to be here next week at the Witch Hour. We're going to have a very important announcement, a new event, a new part of the OPC will be forming that you can be part of. And we'll talk about that next Sunday. So that's all I'm going to say right now. Make sure to be here next Sunday for a very important and fun announcement that's coming. Anyways, guys, always, remember, all of us here on the panel are here to be helps to you. And each of us are, teachers in our field. Lord Tony is a wonderful, powerful, mystical healer. Lord Tony, why don't you tell us real quickly about your healing work and how to reach you?
As Lord Bob says, I am this wonderful, mystical, powerful, super duper healer. I do angelic energy healing. I work with the angels, and we get the healing energies sent to you. It doesn't matter where you are, what part of the world, what you're doing, being awake, sleeping, working, doesn't matter. Whatever you need, we try to work on it and fix it for you. And works pretty well. I haven't had any bad results yet. So you can find my website in the link below, or just Google Lightbringer's Angel, and I should pop up pretty quick.
Yay! Well, Lord Tony, we're excited. Thank you for your service to all of us. And this show wouldn't have been here if it weren't for Lord Tony. All of us been near death this last year. Lord Tony's resurrected each of us, I swear. So thank you, Lord Tony, for your service. Yeah, guys, go visit him. The links will be below. Check him out. Lady Carol also is a wonderful, gifted, talented, magical person. And she has some magical things that she wants to bring to you as well. Tell us about your work also, Lady Carol.
Yes. I actually have a shop on eBay right now. It's called Lady Carol's Wands and More. I have 2 wands up for sale, and this summer, I'm going to be working on different styles of wands, and I've already had a couple of people ask me about them, but you know, I've got to get my materials together and get my creative juices flowing again. But you can check those wands out, and if you like them, hey, make a purchase. You can also find out more information through OPC. I constantly post regularly updates about the wands and let people know, hey, I've got new ones up, or, you know, things like that. I still don't have a full web page yet because that's going to be a slow process for me to do by myself. But check me out on eBay. You can find me, Lady Carol's Wands and More.
There you go. All right, guys, we'll have the links for her to contact her below. We love her work. I am a recipient of many of her wands. Actually, I have a few. Amazing. You gotta check her out. Definitely go check her out. Well, guys, I'm so glad you guys came out today. Thank you for being part of our show. You guys are the best. Listen, if you want to connect with me, with Psychic Bob, I am a full-time professional psychic medium, and you can connect with me for a private reading. Probably the easiest way to reach me is just call me, okay? I get hundreds and hundreds of emails a week, but if you call me at my phone number, write it down, put it in your cell phone, save it. Even if you don't buy a reading today, you'll need it in the future. 703-825-3929 is my number. Give me a call. I'll get you on the schedule for a private reading. Private reading is you and me one-on-one for a full hour. You get Psychic Bob's undivided attention, and we look at your soul journey. We're going to look at your past, your present, your future. I'm going to identify your spirit guides. I'll bring over messages from deceased loved ones. We look at your soul journey, what your mission is, all of that, and I answer all your questions. And I know some of you have said, gee, it would be so cool to sit down and pick Psychic Bob's brain for an hour. Well, that's what we can do in a private reading. So bring your questions, call me, get on my schedule. I'd love the chance to sit down and work with you and help you move forward on your journey. So anyways, my info will be also in the box below in case you can't write it down now. But again, give me a call. 703-825-3929 is my number. And my website, PsychicBob.com. Easy to remember. Anyways, guys, also one more thing, forgot to tell you. Thank you, Lady Karen. Two more things to tell you. While you're at my website, I have a number of books available. See, Lady Carol keeps my head on straight. I am a published author, and you can pick up my books. Ouija Mysteries, Spirit Board Seances, Psychic Bob's Book of Wiccan Wisdom, Psychic Bob's Book of Spells, Messages from Rose, all of this and more over at PsychicBob.com, so check that out. And another announcement real quick, and I'll talk more about this tomorrow on Monday, but to let you know, the censorship of YouTube has ratcheted up against me. I received notice from YouTube legal counsel that they are making moves to investigate me now. Supposedly they don't feel my content is acceptable anymore. I don't know. I find that strange seeing all the trash that I see on YouTube, but they're picking on Psychic Bob. Mm-hmm. So I received a notice from the attorneys at YouTube that my account is now being reviewed and they may shut me down. I've told them I've done no violations. Give me a list of violations. They said, well, it's not necessary you've created violations. It's now basically we determine what we feel is quality on YouTube. So Psychic Bob has been legally threatened. Now, in countermeasure, I have opened a new site, which I'll go into all this tomorrow. Please be back on my channel for horoscopes. I'm going to talk about that in that video. But I am now on a channel site called BitChute, and it's spelled BITCHUTE, BitChute.com, and you can find me over there. I'm going to put the link to my BitChute site in the box below, and you can go, if you want to help me out, make an account over there, subscribe to me, because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on YouTube with this political climate being what it is. I was warned about a month ago that an axe would be falling across several YouTubers. And it doesn't matter how prominent you are, there is an agenda to wipe out a number of people. And I've been notified officially now, I'm on the list. If the event that my channel goes down, I will be working on BitChute. BitChute is a company that invited me to join them. And a lot of prominent YouTubers are moving there. Their whole platform, their promotion is, we don't believe in censorship. They're trying to dig against YouTube because they're saying, YouTube don't want you, we'd love to have you. And they're building their platform now of a lot of prominent YouTubers who are joining with them. I have decided to join with BitChute. I am going to still keep YouTube going. I will still be doing daily videos. In the event that I am destroyed, I will only be able to be on BitChute. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But I'll put the link. I got to update the thing. Check back here. I'll have the link to BitChute in the box below as well. All right. So thank you for being here. I love you guys. You are the best. Thank you, Lord Tony. Thank you, Lady Carol, for being here. You guys are up. And anyways, we'll be back here tomorrow. Check back at Spirit Channel. By the way, tell YouTube you love PsychicBob. Like this video, favorite it, share it with your friends, put it on your Facebook page, and hit subscribe. Okay? You guys are the best. So be back here tomorrow, because what do we have tomorrow, Lady Carol?
Horoscopes.
That's right. We're going to talk about what's in the stars for you. Be back here then. Guys, have a blessed night. Until tomorrow, may all of you always...
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you again. Good night.